Why do you see a team that we've seen be so unbelievable, like Georgia, already this season, look so mortal?
I'm gonna step outside of the box for a second, and I'm just gonna give my own. Just this is Damien right here. This is
Let's
Damien
hear
thing.
it.
This Damien talking right now. I think Georgia's problem is a lack of leadership, a lack of accountability, and a lack of professionalism. Just to be point blank and honest with you. And the reason why I say that is because look at all these off the field issues that Georgia's dealing with week
Yeah.
in and week out.
Another one,
Like
couple days before the game. It's
and
bad.
if you count how many guys, which I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but if we knew the number and we talked about how many off the field incidents there have been just this offseason and going into this season alone, it's an absolutely absurd amount. So to me, you've got all these off the field issues. You've got a team full of really, really talented guys. And then you've got you've got games where you show up and you play extremely well. And then you've got games where you just come out and look like a shell of who you really are. And to me, all of that when you combine all of that, it just shows a lack of leadership. One, why is Carson Beck not grabbing his team, sitting down, having player only meetings and saying, what the hell is going on? Why are we having guys getting arrested left and right, doing stuff that is putting lives in jeopardy, yours and others? Why do we have guys that are sitting here misrepresenting what the G on our chest means? Like, what's going on? At the same time, where's Carson Beck grabbing his guys against Kentucky and being like, what are we doing? Like, this is not a competitive team to us. You know what I mean? This is not a team that should be playing anywhere on the field with us. Hell, that's how we were. And we didn't have guys that were out here having all these crazy issues, right? We didn't have a ton of guys with all these off the field problems. We definitely had some. Every program has some. We didn't have a ton. But whenever we did, you know what we did? We called players only meetings, and the leaders, the Reuben Fosters, the Minka Fitzpatricks, the Jalen Hurts, the Tuas, like they addressed that stuff right then and there. And they're like, nah, we only about business here. We only about winning football games. And then the same breath, the same regard, whenever we were in close games, our leaders would grab us on the sideline and be like, nah, we got to tighten up because this ain't what we're going to do. So a lot of the blowouts that we had, like against some of the Mississippi States and some of the Arkansas, even some of the LSU games, they were close until, beginning midway through the fourth quarter. And then we just blew the doors off at the end because we outlasted them, because we had that leadership to bring us in and be like, hey, guys, all right, we done pissed away 2.5, 3 quarters here. It's time now. It's the fourth quarter. This is what we train for. This is what we about. And then we went out and we just blew the doors off. Georgia didn't do that. You know what I mean? They lost a squeaker, 13-12. So to me, I know I'm ranting, I'm preaching. For those of y'all out there listening, I appreciate y'all listening to me. But it's just a lack of leadership. It's a lack of accountability. And again, it falls down to you've got these guys that are so talented, these guys that are put on a pedestal and feel like they're invincible. So they feel like they can go out and do all this dumb stuff off the field. Then they feel like they can go out and just show up and win games because they wear the G on their chest and they don't have to compete. Like, you're Georgia. Do you not think that every week you're going to get team's best game? Yeah. You don't think Kentucky's going to give you their absolute best game? At Alabama, we knew, I don't care if it's Citadel, I don't care if it's LSU, we're going to get their best punch. You know what I mean? So to me, it's just a lot of lack of leadership.
On the bright side for Kentucky, they don't get the job done there. Brock Vandagriff looked much, much better. I liked what I saw from him, and he was a disaster against South Carolina.
I went from not liking him to liking him a lot more. I
kind of liked what I saw, and I will say the punting in plus territory there with the trailing in the final minutes, that's a tough look for Mark Stoops. You gotta that might be a little conservative for
that was questionable. I was really surprised by that. Like, as somebody who was recruited by Stoops, and I've had a relationship with Stoops, I was surprised we kept a relationship after I ultimately didn't go to Kentucky. But like, he's got that fiery, like, that mentality, that spirit. Like, guys love to play for him. Like, I know guys that played at Kentucky, and just even watching his style of coaching, like, I've seen him after big wins, he's crowd surfing his players, he's got that type of energy. So with the game on the line against the number one team in the country, and you're at home and you've got a chance to, I'm going to ask you this. If Kentucky wins that game last night, that's their biggest win since
We were actually talking about this with some people last night. Like Kentucky and Mark Stoops, like he gets the job done almost every single year, but they never have these like landmark wins. I think it would clearly be the biggest win for him.
I think it would be the biggest one since LSU and back in like 2007. I think when LSU might have been the number one team in the country.
Could be. I think my question would be, I think it would be interesting to see, because to me, when I saw that play, that felt like the defensive coach bubbling up in Mark Stoops and saying, we're going to get a stop. We're going to put on our defense here.
Man, forget that.
I would be very curious to know, like, if defensive coaches or head coaches with a defensive background are, like, inherently more conservative than offensive coaches. Because I feel like they are. I need to do some homework on this.
Naturally, you would think so. You would think so. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen him just go for it, man. I
think you got to in a situation like that.